So I don't know how to say. First of all, thank you very much for joining this amazing Bhagavatam series, everyday class. You know, my wife mentioned that you are giving class on Sunday. It's like yes. It's like Friday, Rom Pachai Maharaj is giving class. Saturday, Yukal Kishore Prabhu is giving class, and you are giving on Sunday.
Yes, but it's the most amazing class.
So the only response I could give her that when you are taking always sweet, 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 right? In between, you have to take some sour, some spicy, something low category, so that you can cherish the sweet more. So I'm here only to fulfill that aspect. So in front of his guy Sham Kishore Prabhu, Rondinan Prabhu is also giving amazing classes, and HG Gopal Prabhu, and she also.
No, it's not going to be the most amazing
So,
class. Yeah, most humble.
me humble. Okay. But so I have a lot of shortcomings, but the subject matter is pure. So only on that confidence, I am trying or going to be trying to repeat what I have heard without much altercation or without much putting my words into it. So that is my effort, and I request everyone's blessings to please bless me that I can utilize this time some way or other in a positive way, which makes some positive impact in our process. So we'll do 2-minute kirtan. As Prabhuji is with Madanga, so now I am feeling obliged. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Janvallabha Girivaridhari Jai Gopi Janvallabha Girivaridhari Yashodanandan Braj Jana Ranjana Yashodanandan Braj Jana Ranjana Yashodanandan Braj Jana Yamuna Tira Vanchari Yamuna Tira Vanchari the key. The biggest nightmare for me is singing. So I never sing. That is one of my bucket lists. Before I depart from this, world, I want to be able to sing for 2 minutes without sweating. So we are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 1, verse number 62. This chapter basically describes the lineage of daughters of Swayambhuva. So we have covered up to 61 as of yesterday. So we'll do 62 today. But before that, let's let's chant invocation prayer to seek the blessings and guidance and support and mercy and glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. So before that, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयेमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो For verse today is 4.1.62 62nd verse of first canto, first chapter, canto 4. वैतानिके कर्मणीयन्
वैतानिके कर्मणीयन्
नामाभिर्ब्रह्मवादिभिः
नामाभिर्ब्रह्मवादिभिः
आग्नेय इष्टयो यज्ञे
आग्नेयाश्रयोगे
निरूपयन्ते अग्नयस्तु ते
निरूप्यन्ते
वैतानिके कर्मणीयन्
वैतानिके कर्मणीयन्
नामाभिर्ब्रह्मवादिभिः
नामाभिर्ब्रह्मवादिभिः
आग्नेय इष्टयो यज्ञे
आग्नेयाश्रयोगे
निरूपयन्ते अग्न्यस्तु ते
निरूप्यन्ते अग्नेयस्ते
वैतानिके कर्मणीयन् नामाभिर्ब्रह्मवादिभिः अग्नेया इष्टयो यज्ञे निरूप्यन्ते अग्न्यस्तु ते
वैतानिके कर्मणीयन्
वैतानिके कर्मणीयन्
नामाभिर्ब्रह्मवादिभिः
नामाभिर्ब्रह्मवादिभिः आग्नेया इष्टयो यज्ञे
निरूप्यन्ते अग्नयस्तु ते
निरूपयन्ते अग्न्यस्तु ते
वैतानिके कर्मणीयान्
वैतानिके कर्मणीयन्
नामभिर्ब्रह्मवादिभिः
नामाभिर्ब्रह्मवादिभिः
अग्नेय इष्टो यज्ञे
अग्नेया इष्टयो यन्ते
निरूप्यन्ते अग्नयस्तु ते
निरूपयन्ते अग्नयस्तु ते वैतानिके कर्मणीयन् नामाभिर्ब्रह्मवादिभिः आग्नेया इष्टयो यज्ञे निरूपयन्ते अग्नयस्तु ते word to word meaning. Vetanike, offering of oblations. Karmani, activity. Yat, of the fire gods. Namabhe, by the names. Brahma, Brahmavadibhi, by impersonalist Brahmanas. Agneya, for Agni. Istayo, sacrifices. Yagge, in the sacrifice. Nirupayante, are the objective. Agneya, the 49 fire gods. Two, but they, those. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. These 49 fire gods are the beneficiaries of the oblations offered in the Vedic sacrificial fire by impersonalist Brahmanas. Purport: impersonalists who perform Vedic fruitive sacrifices are attracted to the various fire gods and offer oblations in their name. The 49 fire gods are described herewith. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाता सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदा सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हुकुम करोति वाचालं मंगलं वदामि यत् प्रपादं श्री गुरु परमानंद श्री चैतन्य ईश्वर हरे कृष्णा। So again, we are reading from 62nd verse, which mainly says the it talks about 49 fire gods. And last couple of verses, I'll just quickly touch upon the last couple of verses. I think my slides are in wrong order. Okay. Okay, so just to put the things in perspective, this is basically glorification. It's basic genealogy of Swayambhuva Manu. He had, 3 daughters, and we are talking about the third daughter right now. So she got married to fire god, and they had 3 sons. As they said, the prominent deity of fire begat and his wife Swaha 3 children named Pavaka, Pavmana, and Suchi. So there are 3 sons, and their 3 sons have 45 sons. So, and these 45 sons plus 3 father plus Agni god, which is grandfather, Pitama. So together, they are 49 fire god. Before this, I never knew. We always referred Agni Dev, just one, right? Har jagah we say Agni. And I was hearing Prabhupada Swami Maharaj class couple of days, like Friday, right? He mentioned, and now when we do fire sacrifice, we say Swaha, right? After every oblation. So now we know. He says, now my understanding would be different. Right? Because Swaha basically is addressing the Agni Dev's wife and Agni Dev's mother, right? Because for 49, she's grandmother, right? For some, she is mother. For some, she is grandmother. And from some, for one fire god, she is wife. So basically, everything that we are doing or offering is through her, through the fire god that we are doing. We are able to do any kind of sacrifice. And the last verse says that actually 61 and 62 together, that anything which is offered to demigod is through Agni. So whatever oblation, whatever sacrifice we're doing of any kind, which is offered to demigods, they are accepting via the Agni god, right? So now I'll go back for what I was. So just quickly the genealogy. I tried to create a little cheat sheet, right? Because I was getting confused as to who's son of what, who's daughter of what. So again, in very short, I did. So Swayambhu Manu have two sons, Priyavrata and Uttanpad. The Dhruv Maharaj came in the lineage of Uttanpad. He's son of Uttanpad. And then first daughter, which is described as Akuti. She was married to King Ruchi, and from them, they had Yagna and Dakshina, and we know that Yagna represents the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, and Dakshina is the partial incarnation of Goddess Lakshmi Ji. So they got married, and through them, their 12 sons were born. We had in detail, we discussed Devahuti, Mother Devahuti, who got married to Karma Muni, and the son from their union is Lord Kapiladev, who gave, last two chapters that we discussed, that he gave the major teachings on Sankhya Yoga. And again, through Sankhya Yoga, the devotion, right? He prominently looks like that he's speaking on Sankhya Yoga, but actually, reality, if we go more deeper, it is Bhakti Yoga. And then they had 9 daughters, and those 9 daughters got married to 9 sages, and that's a little bit lineage is given, right? So quickly, Marichi, from them, Kashyap Muni and Devatulya were born, and Devatulya is the presiding deity of Mother Ganga, right? So he's the one, or she's the one, they washed the lotus feet of Supreme Lord and came as Mother Ganga on earth. Then from Atri, the 3 presiding deities came, 3 sons came, Soma, Dattatreya, and Durvasa, and they represents 3 personalities. Soma represents a partial incarnation of Lord Brahma, Dattatreya is partial incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and Durvas is partial incarnation of Lord Shiva. So we saw the more detail. From Angira, the 4 daughters came in and 2 sons, and one of the son is Brahaspati, who is the spiritual master of all the demigods, and we had a detailed discussion of that. I think a few weeks back, Prabhuji did. Right? When Pulatsya, again, I'm not listing all the personality name, but just very high level who are the prominent that we kind of discussed. Pulatsya, from Pulatsya, Agastya Muni came, who I think he's the same Agastya Muni who gave who gave the weapons to Lord Ram, and also he is the one who swallowed the whole ocean in one sip by putting in his kamandal. So that kind of personality. Agastya Muni came, and also in the same lineage, Kuvera and 3 brothers that we know, Ravan, Kumbhakaran, and Vibhishan came. And Pulaha, the 3 sons came. I don't have much details. Kratus, they have 60,000 sages came, and their name as together, their name is Valakhilas. Maybe pronouncing wrong. And then through Vashishta, the 3 sages, 7 sages, and their leader was Chitraketu. Right? So kind of thought good idea to touch upon. And then again, I repeated Vashishta, and then Atharva, son, Avashira came, Avashira, and then Bhragu. From Bhragu, there are Markandeya Rishi and Usan, which is basically Shukracharya, right? So it says that Shukracharya is also. So Shukracharya also in the dynasty of Bhrigu, right? So sort of quickly touch upon before we go. Now, the current situation, that current lineage that we are looking is Prasuti. She got married to King Daksha, and With this union, they had total 16 daughters, right? 13 daughters were given to Dharma. And the prior, I think the verses that which describe which daughter came, what, from which daughter what sons and daughters came. And from this group itself, the Rishi Nar Narayan appeared, right? They were from Dharma and daughters of Dharma and Prashuti's daughters. And one daughter was given to Pitraloka, and one daughter was given to Lord Shiva, that we know as Mother Sati. Right? And another daughter out of 16, we discussed 15, right? 13, 14, 15. And the 16 was given to Lord Agni. Right? And from Agni, the three sons, Pavaka, Pavamana, and Suchi, and their 45 sons. So total 40, okay, total 49. Right? So, and that's what we are discussing today. Okay, my slides are in little. Okay. We discussed, these three verses as well. We quickly just to set the stage as to what 49 what 49 Agni God that we are talking about. So, if we see with this conversation happening between whom?
Between Maitreya Muni and Vidura.
Between Maitreya Muni and Vidura. But originally Bhagavatam conversation is happening. We see even before it's happening between in the Naimisharanya, where Shaunak Rishi and Suta Goswami are discussing. And Suta Goswami is quoting Sukadev Goswami. And Sukadev Goswami is referring conversation of Vidura and Maitreya Muni. So if we see Bhagavatam is basically full of conversation. And these conversation refer prior conversation. Right? And that is how the parampara works in reality. Basically, we don't need to invent anything new. We don't need to manufacture anything new. We don't need to create any knowledge. Any knowledge which actually matters, which already exists, through various prior conversation, whether it's a conversation in terms of clarifying it, but in terms of correcting it, explaining it, giving examples, all the knowledge which actually matters is there. Obviously, if someone says, okay, how many windows are there in Empire State Building, what is the height of, or what is the length of Brooklyn Bridge, or height of Brooklyn Bridge, that knowledge is not there. Why? Because that really doesn't matter in long run. The thing which matters is given, right? So, and Prabhupada mentioned in multiple occasions that you can answer any philosophical question, you can win any philosophical debate, if only you read my books clearly, completely, thoroughly. If you read my books, you can have any argument on Vedic discussion, and you will not be defeated, and you will come out victorious with the right mindset, as long as you are humble and read my books. Because Prabhupada poured his heart in the books, right? And he not only gave, he explained that, but he actually referred the teachings and shastras of previous acharya and the discussion and the narration, but whatever, coming down from thousands and thousands and thousands of years. It was very, very important, right? Now Sukadev Goswami is quoting this conversation, right? Now, who is Sukadev Goswami? Let's just spend a minute, right? So, as we know, right, the story of the pastime of Parikshit Maharaj. He got cursed. He decided to give up. He know that he's going to leaving the body in 7 days. He gave up his, like, he's just not discarded his kingdom. He gave his kingdom in a right way to the worthy son, and then he decided to sit on the bank of river Ganga and say, okay, now, and just because he decided to quit his body at that spot, the news broke down, right? We call it viral, right? So all the WhatsApp messages were sent to all different groups and all different parts of universe, not just this Earth planet, all parts of universe, and all different personalities decided to appear right there because they know something wonderful is going to happen. one of the pure devotee of Lord Shri Krishna, have decided to leave the body. Right? So all different sages came, and the sages include, Vyasadev, Narad, all different, says that Raja Rishi, Devarshi, all different sages, all prominent personalities who have the potency to see the past, present, and future. They were all there. Not a single personality missed that. And Parishit Maharaj expressed the desire to that I want to spend these days by hearing and remembering the glories of Lord Vishnu. And everyone agrees, yeah, this is the right way to leave the body, by hearing the glories of Lord Vishnu. At that very moment, right? The 16-year-old boy walks in the assembly, right? And everyone is kind of, think about board meeting, right? Everyone is properly dressed in board meeting, and one naked person with matted hair, with dhuli on his body, looking like a mad person, walks in. Right? Now, if you see, everyone would be like, who that person is. But all the sages who had the potency, and it's not that Sukadeva Goswami was very well broadcasted that his glories, right? Nothing like that. So any personality who had, and that's what I heard in Sudha Krishna Goswami Maharaj's class, that any personality who had the power to go through or see through the heart and mind of any individual, but just by looking at them, any of those personality, when they saw Sukadeva Goswami, they immediately realized who this person is, and they all got up from their respected seat. They folded their hand and welcomed him in the assembly. So when these kind of personalities who are very well equipped in the past, present, future, and they can just look at the person and know the heart and the mind of that person, when those personality got up, everyone else got up, and they offer the right seat to Sukadeva Goswami. And then everyone unanimously agreed that we all wanted to discuss glories of Lord Vishnu, and he is the right person to do that. Right? And that kind of personality, and again, when he's speaking, so when Sukadeva Goswami starts speaking, he's speaking in front of his father, Vyasadev. He's speaking in front of his guru. His guru is also Vyasadev. Not only Vyasadev, he's speaking in front of his guru's guru. Narad Muni was also there. Right? So that kind of personality is referring to the conversation of prior Acharya. So Sukadeva Goswami itself is a bona fide, but still he is referring to the conversation which happened between Maitreya Muni and Vidura. I'm just repeating myself more and more just to emphasize the importance of hearing and quoting from senior acharyas, right? And that is how parampara, that is how the parampara is established, that is how parampara is utilized, that is how parampara is saving us from any kind of calamities and disasters, because we are referring to the prior conversation, right? And some of these personalities in the class that I heard, that they are so pure that they have a potency and capability, right? Capability is not right thing, but they have a potency and capability to even purify the pilgrimage, right? Generally, people go for pilgrimage, all the karma kandis, or people in general, including myself, we go to pilgrimage for what? We go to pilgrimage to purify ourselves, right? But what happened to the anarthas? Right? We say, right, we took dip in Ganga, all the anarthas gone. But what happened to those anarthas? They just don't vanish, right? So they say that pilgrimage take those karmas, to anarthas. So I heard in a very, I think I'm maybe missing who says this, but Radhanath Maharaj's discussion that Maharaj gave in the class, that one time Mother Ganga asked, I don't know, Lord Brahma or Lord Vishnu, that I don't know. She asked that all the people are taking dip bath in me, right? They're bathing in me, and I'm accumulating all these. I will be accumulating all these bad karmas. So after some time, I will lose my potency of purifying, because I'll not have potency to purify, because I have purified so many that I can't handle more karmas. Then the answer given to Mother Ganga was that regularly there'll be pure devotees will also come and take, will bathe in your waters. So because of their purity, the burden of anarthas that you are accumulating will go away. So you'll constantly be purifying people in general. So these kind of personalities were there who had the potency to purify the pilgrimage. And those kind of personalities agreed to hear from Sukadeva Goswami, and Sukadeva Goswami is still at that level also, he's quoting the prior conversation. Like he's quoting conversation of Narad Muni, he's quoting conversation of, obviously Maitreya and Vidura. So it's so important, so very important to focus, to ensure that we are always in line. Our talks, teachings are in line with our previous teachings and acharyas. So I'm gonna skip this slide for now. Now, this is one of my, I read recently, and I think Shri Gaurangi touched upon it. This is my one of the favorite topic. Again, comes in the same line that everyone has seen the Pagdandi probably in India, right? Pagdandi, the walking trail, the path which is made by people constantly walking, right? And Pagdandi, if it is constantly being used, it gets broader and broader, right? But it says in the rainy season, right, when no one is using the Pagdandi, rainy season happen, two things happens. One is travel gets restricted, right? We know, right? We follow Chaturmasha, right? In olden days, all the sadhus will not travel during Chaturmasa because very difficult because of rain. Path is not, potholes are there, water is there. So they will stay at one place and do their sadhana. So two things. One thing is no one is using the path, and second thing is because of water and because of nice atmosphere, environment, the creepers grow the same path. So what happens is at the end of the 4 month, many times the path gets covered by other bushes, thorny bushes. Sometimes insects are living and playing in that path, which is supposed to be the path. So what really happens is, if after some time, if someone wants to walk on that path, right, they can't walk. Either they don't find the path, or they find the path, they are hesitant in walking. Even though they know there's a path there, they're hesitant in walking because they're afraid that, there's the right path. Whether, what about the thorny bushes? What about the insects? What about the stones? What about something is broken in between? What if I don't find my path after some time? Right? So all those thought comes, right? And we need maybe forest ranger or someone who knows that this path is real, come and remove the bushes so that other people can walk in, right? And that is the analogy given, I think in 10th canto, based on what I recall, that the path to spirituality, the path back to Godhead, is compared with a Pagdandi. So if devotees constantly preaching, how we walk, how do we clarify, how do we walk the devotional path? By practicing it, by propagating it. So this is basically a concept of, I think Yugal touched upon some time back, is preservation by propagation. When we want to preserve something very expensive, something very valuable, we put it in a locker, right? If you have a book, you put it in a airtight chamber so that humidity and temperature and everything is maintained. No one touches it, uses it, right? If you have a special jewel, it's not visibly outside. It's always kept in a locker, or if it is visible, it is under the glass wall, protected with all the alarm and everything, right? If someone wants to go and see the Kohinoor Hira or anything like that, you can't just go and walk it, right? So, but as far as Vedic scripture is concerned, Vedic philosophy, Vedic teachings are concerned, they are preserved by propagating far and wide, right? So it's everyone's responsibility to explain this knowledge, to talk about this knowledge, to practice this knowledge far and wide, day in, day out. If someone is teacher, they should teach to their student. Practice, make student practice, right? If someone is parent, they should ensure that their kids are trained in this knowledge. It's our moral responsibility to do that, right? And if some parents think that they are not capable, they're not they don't know enough to preach, they don't know enough to teach. There different resources are available. Like if you are in Scon Farmington Hills, we have Sunday schools, we have different classes are happening for boys, for girls separately, right? Shamkishore Prabhu takes it, and Manga Gopi Mataji takes for Matajis. So there are different forums available. I know you are all illustrious and everyone is doing it, but just for my purity I'm speaking. So it's very, very important to promote, propagate, so that we'll ensure that this Pagdandi is always open and visible, always accessible, so that different bushes, different the wrong or thought process or philosophy which is not exactly in line with the Vedic principles, that don't get creeped up and covers the path, right? You might hear, right, when you talk to your friends and family, right? No, according to me this is right. तुम लोग ये बोलते हो, बट मेरे हिसाब से ये अच्छा है, मेरे हिसाब से ये मंत्र अच्छा है, मेरे हिसाब से ये व्रत उपवास ये सारी चीजें अच्छी है, राइट? द मोमेंट वी ऐड मेरे हिसाब से या अकॉर्डिंग टू मी or according to anything which is not a bona fide authority, that is a creeper which may not completely block the path, but which have a at least power to divert the path a little, right? And one little diversion, if you continue, if you take, if you're going a straight line, if you take even 5-degree turn and keep walking 10 miles, after some time you realize that you are very far away, right? So it's very, very important to follow the way they should be, right? And yesterday Yugul Prabhu kind of touched upon, right, that you should be very conservative and serious and committed about the principles, and details kind of depends upon the situation. So we should be very, very conservative about the principle and could be liberal. I'm not saying should be, could be liberal on the details. Again, it's a very challenge to establish the balance between, right? Between how much you should be liberal with whom depends upon the details, the situation, the person, the circumstances. And if any doubt, we should always discuss. Again, the discussion with higher authority is also part of Vedic culture. We always refer, right? And again, in that situation, not one answer don't fit all, right? Because it's a detail, right? Not the principle. Principle has to be followed as it is. Because if we dilute the principle, that's definitely going to impact the details in the long run. And that's how the wrong philosophy comes in, right? Osho philosophy, right? And the Charles Darwin or all those philosophy, because they compromised on principle itself, right? So this is very, very important. Now we are in line of Gaudiya Vaishnava, Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya, and with all the teachings that we are learning, right? Our prominent Siksha Guru is His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada took painstaking effort to write this book, these books, sorry, not this book, these books, to ensure we have the right, we have access to the right. So he basically, I'm just trying to relate, he did not just walk the path, he broadened the path. Like if we have Pagdandi, if some people come together with the right equipment and make a concrete road, 6 feet road or 10 feet, 20 feet road with nice concrete, bilkul nice irrigation system and everything, right? So that ensure that Pagdandi will never get lost, even though traffic is less. That's what Prabhupada did, right? He gave the scriptures translation, purport in such a way that there is no confusion anywhere, right? And it's open to pretty much everyone on this planet Earth, right? There are different languages, different commentary, different details is given, right? So we should be, how much indebted we should be on Prabhupada or for Prabhupada and our previous Acharya. It says that that if anyone think, right, that they can pay the debt of previous Acharya, right, he's a Vinod Patra, right? He's a laughing stock, he's a joker, right? There's a verse, I think 4, I noted down. These are previous acharya. I mean, just kind of picture which tells us again, it's a preservation by propagation. And I think I noted down somewhere. Fourth canto, 422-47 says that ko nama tat pratikaroti vinod patra. So the person who thinks that they can pay the debt of previous acharya is a laughing stock. If the person speaks, people, anyone who has a common sense, only they will laugh at that person. Right? So, I mean, I can't be said more than that. Right? He's a Vinod Patan. He's a laughing stock, joker. Should never be taken seriously. He should be ridiculed. Just use that and just throw. Absolutely, no use of hearing to those person. And that is why a lot of time Prabhupada mentioned, right, kind of late Mayavadi, that, don't listen from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if you even listen from them, that will pollute your entire consciousness. So never listen from Mayavadis, because their teachings are not in line. Right? They think that, they can speak anything, because that's not what scripture says, that you are God, I am God, everyone is God. Right? So it never be true. And so that can never be repaid. I was hearing this class of Gauranga Darshan Prabhu some time back. And in this class, he covered this topic, propagation preservation by propagation. And again, I spoke while he gave an elaborate. And he said that in his class, Jai Sachin Maharaj was also there. Jai Sachin Maharaj is very senior disciple of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. He was also in the class, and he said that I like your classes so much that I take notes. Every time you give class, I come with the pen and paper. So Maharaj touched upon this point, and that is my kind of really eye opener. How important is the preservation and preaching is. Again, I'm just speaking. I don't have any realization. I don't preach as such. But Maharaj said that I totally agree that this debt can never be repaid. But there is a way to repay the debt. And everyone's like, Maharaj is saying that there's a way we can repay the debt of senior acharya. Right? You can buy the book, you can buy Srimad Bhagavatam, you can pay the printing cost, you can pay the transportation cost, you can pay the whatever other costs are involved. Right? But you can never pay the efforts, the realization, the whole, you can never pay that. You can just pay the material level. But Maharaj says, actually, there is a way to pay. Right? If someone take the message of Bhagavatam, they accept the message completely in their heart, and they, in line parampara, right, in line with the teachings, if they preach or distribute the message of Bhagavatam without any ulterior motive, without having tinge of ulterior motive or any expectation, neither we should have motive or any expectation. If someone does it, then this person become the part of family of Bhagavatas. And once you become the family of Bhagavatas, then it is considered that your debt to your acharya is paid. Right? That point was kind of, very instructive, very, I don't have the right words. I like, wow. It's so important to preach the message of Bhagavatam. Right? Again, person like me, we always have some kind of motive. We always have some kind of expectation. I'm talking about myself. Right? But if someone does it with pure heart, right, they consider their debt to their senior acharyas is paid. Right? Take example of our divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Right? Prabhupada never had any expectation. Only expectation he had that you also preach. Right? Only expectation he had that, I'm following my spiritual master's order to propagate this knowledge. So he did not have any ulterior motive. He did not have any expectation. Right? So it is our duty to keep the path accessible, keep the message flowing, keep the path visible, accessible with the best possible way. Right? If we cannot widen the path, we should ensure that we are not digging pothole in that path, which has already been carved. So with our behavior, with our preaching, with our dealings, we need to ensure that we preserve that path and the teachings and overall, what do you call it, reputation for that matter, right? So that is something I thought I'll speak. A couple of more points, but I think it's 9:11, so we'll stop at this time. I think what other thing I have. If any activity we do, again, this verse talks about a fire sacrifice, right? So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right, in the 3rd chapter, I think I had some slides earlier, right, that when Krishna created, I mean, this creation was manifested. Krishna gave the process, between, man, you, all the things that you do, you offer the result to me through fire sacrifice, right? And when you do fire sacrifice, you offer oblations, and so by that way you can please the demigods, and the demigods will provide what all things that you need, and then with the cooperation between man and demigods, things will flourish. So I just wanted to put the point that sacrifices are not recommended directly to the pure devotees who are following the path of devotion. This is people in general, mainly who are following the Vedic, like Vedas. And as we know, right, Narad Muni instructed Vedas that, all the Vedas that you wrote, right, before he composed Bhagavatam, the reason of dissatisfaction is because you have glorified all the Purusharth, right? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. But you did not exclusively glorify the devotion service, the Supreme Lord glories, right? So these fire sacrifices are mainly for the people who are impersonalists. That's what the Prabhupada used the word impersonalist in the purport. That they are attracted by these fire gods because using them they can offer the oblation, or they can offer the oblation and do the fire sacrifice and offer all the things that they're offering to demigods and get the desired results, right? But for us, the actual sacrifice that we have to do constantly, day in, day out, is chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare. This I'll stop here. Prabhuji, sorry if I misspoke anything, and please add correction, Prabhuji. Shankishar Prabhu, any correction?
No, amazing class. Thank you.
There's nothing meant to it. If you don't correct, I'll be keep making the same mistakes that I may have made here. And I said earlier, right? If at all there are any shortcomings, any mistakes, I am the reason for those mistakes. But the teachings and the message is pure. They cannot be anything pure other, in this manifestation.
Thank you for the nice class.
The question they will answer. Correction I'll take.
The 45 other fire gods between the 3 wives, right? Are they 15 each, or are the names given?
No, in this chapter there are no names given, but it says that the 3 sons together they have 45 sons. So 45 sons, 3 fathers, and
their wife name is also not given.
Their wife's name is also not given.
Each one got 15 sons each, or
no details given.
Thank you.
Again, me speculating. Again, I'm purely speculating right now that he may not find it too important at that point in time to elaborate. It's not that he did not know, just like, and there was a question, I think Dev Madhav Prabhu gave a discussion here, right? That sometimes we feel that why we need to know all this, right? What's the reason of knowing all this, like this kind of creation and whose son is like, as long as we know what their pastimes are, we should be okay, right? But then he gave example, right? When we want to know someone, right? So let's say someone has a big house, if we can access to one room, so that room is not the entire house, but the room still tells something because that room is related to that owner. So we'll know something about it, but that doesn't mean that is the most important thing. But nothing wrong in knowing it, right? So it's like that. So that's why I think these details are given, though may not be directly, related to the practice and the day-to-day activities, but just more for understanding.
And it is said that Prabhuji, that Krishna was speaking to Uddhava. He spoke all these things and same thing Mathura repeated to Uddhava. So whatever Krishna only spoke all these things. So his words he's repeating to Vidura.
Quite possible Krishna also did not speak.
Yeah. So that means
But hard to say because sometimes depends upon, like, one person gave these many items, second person may not, for this particular situation, circumstance, capability of this person did not might have given all 10, they may have given 9, or sometimes little different example, just to again details, but overall concept is same. So again, this makes speculating completely.
because in the last verse of the fourth canto, last chapter, last verse, Maithra said that whatever I heard and whatever I knew from Krishna, I spoke.
I spoke. Yeah. Prabhuji, Prabhuji, do you want to elaborate more on the question? Yeah, it's like Prabhuji's question was like, the 45 sons, do we know like 15 each, or what the name and those details? So. Okay. Any other correction, reflection? If not, then we'll end it. Oh. Any correction from Zoom? I don't know if am I audible or not. I didn't.
Thank you very much, Shri Gopal Prabhu. Very nice class. Thank you.
I like that point where which Satchidananda Sai Maharaj said that whatever we are preaching, preach with pure intent.
Okay, that is
without any motive.
It is, I mean, knowing. Okay, can I? Why not giving me option to close?
But it's there in the extended screen.
Okay.
You have one message.
Oh, I am. Just a minute. Thank you.